On a frigid November morning in 2024, Denver International Airport, one of the world's busiest and most iconic travel hubs, came to a sudden, unexpected halt. What was supposed to be a routine day of departures and arrivals quickly turned into a scene no one could have predicted. The familiar roar of jet engines faded away, replaced by an eerie, unsettling quiet. Departure boards, usually filled with flight numbers and destinations, now flashed delayed and cancelled in bold, relentless letters. The airport's pulse seemed to stop. Travelers grew increasingly anxious, stranded in terminals with no clear idea of when or even if they could leave. Some paced nervously, others slumped in chairs, eyes glued to their phones for updates that never seemed to come. The airport, typically a place buzzing with excitement and anticipation, was transformed into a zone of confusion, frustration, and endless waiting. The energy shifted from hopeful to tense. Questions and rumors spread like wildfire. Was there a hidden reason for the sudden shutdown? Whispers of something bigger at play echoed through the crowds. Online, wild theories took off. Some speculated about hidden tunnels beneath the airport, secret government projects, or even mysterious underground discoveries. Social media was ablaze with speculation, each theory more outlandish than the last. But the truth was right outside the windows. Nature was unleashing its fury. A massive snowstorm, one of the worst in recent memory, was burying the entire region under a thick, relentless blanket of snow. The real story wasn't a conspiracy or a cover-up, but a historic act of nature. The snowstorm was so intense that even the best-prepared airport in the country was caught off guard. In this video, we'll reveal how a single, powerful storm brought Denver's airport and the city's travel plans to a complete standstill, stranding thousands and grounding hundreds of flights. We'll explore the storm's dramatic impact on the airport, the planes, and the thousands of travelers and staff caught in the chaos, each with their own story to tell. We'll look at how authorities and airport staff responded to the crisis, working tirelessly to keep everyone safe, and why, in moments like these, facts matter more than rumors or speculation. The real story is dramatic enough, no secret bunkers or hidden agendas required. Sometimes, the most extraordinary events are simply acts of nature. Denver's shutdown became a powerful lesson in the sheer force of weather and a reminder of how vulnerable even our most advanced systems can be. It showed that despite all our technology and planning, nature can still humble us in an instant, forcing us to adapt and respond. As we dig deeper into what happened that day, remember, sometimes the simplest explanation is the right one, and the real story is right before our eyes. The snowstorm was the only culprit, a force of nature that no one could control or predict with certainty. Let's see how it all unfolded, and discover the real story behind the day Denver Airport stood still. The chaos at Denver International Airport was unlike anything most travelers or staff had ever seen. Flights were delayed or canceled, terminals were packed with stranded passengers, and confusion reigned as people tried to figure out what to do next. All of this was caused by a once-in-a-generation snowstorm, a weather event so severe that it brought the entire airport to a standstill. Meteorologists called it historic, an extraordinary combination of heavy snow, bone-chilling temperatures, and relentless blizzard conditions. Weather experts warned that this storm would be remembered for years to come. Visibility dropped to near zero, making travel by road and air not just difficult but truly dangerous. Even experienced pilots and drivers struggled to navigate through the blinding snow and howling winds. The storm began to build around November 5th, with conditions worsening each day and peaking in intensity between the 7th and 9th. For nearly a week, Colorado was at the mercy of the elements. Central and eastern Colorado, including the city of Denver, were hit the hardest. The region was blanketed in snow, with drifts piling up higher than anyone expected. Snow fell relentlessly, hour after hour, covering everything in sight. Runways, roads, buildings, and vehicles disappeared beneath a thick white layer. Airport officials had prepared as best they could, bringing in extra staff and equipment, but the storm's intensity exceeded all forecasts and overwhelmed even the most robust plans. Air travel depends on clear runways and safe conditions, none of which were possible during the height of the storm. Planes were grounded, and the control tower was shrouded in swirling snow. Runways were buried under feet of snow, visibility was gone, and ice formed everywhere, making every surface treacherous for both people and machines. The answer to the shutdown was simple and unavoidable: the weather. Warnings flashed across screens, and officials urged everyone to stay put. There were no secrets, no hidden causes, just snow, and lots of it. Feet of snow piled up everywhere, blocking doors and burying vehicles. Official statements, news reports, and weather data all pointed to the same cause, a natural disaster of rare magnitude, one that tested the limits of the city's infrastructure. The storm was so powerful it brought one of the world's most efficient airports to a complete halt, leaving the terminals eerily empty and silent. Nature, not mystery, was in control, reminding everyone of its unpredictable and overwhelming power. This was a story of weather's overwhelming force, a reminder that sometimes the only explanation is the unstoppable power of nature itself. To understand the shutdown, look at the sheer amount of snow. Some mountain areas near Denver saw over 3 feet. Closer to the airport, up to 2 feet fell in days. Imagine millions of square feet of pavement buried under heavy, wet snow. Airport crews worked non-stop, but as soon as they cleared a runway, it vanished under fresh snow. The snow was dense and heavy, making removal slow and exhausting. Planes needed de-icing before every takeoff, adding delays and bottlenecks. The airport's infrastructure was simply overwhelmed. Even advanced technology couldn't keep up with the relentless snowfall. The beautiful white blanket was a symbol of total disruption. The shutdown wasn't a choice, it was a necessity. Safety came first, and the snow made normal operations impossible. Denver's airport was no match for the storm's scale. Sometimes, nature wins. The storm's impact on air travel was immediate and severe, sending shockwaves through Denver International Airport and beyond. As the first snowflakes began to fall, it quickly became clear that this was no ordinary weather event. The airport, usually a hub of constant movement, was suddenly brought to a near halt. On November 7th, over 1,000 flights were delayed. The ripple effect was felt not just in Denver, but across the entire country, as connecting flights and schedules were thrown into chaos. The next day, nearly 500 flights were canceled outright, leaving thousands of passengers stranded with no clear answers about when they might be able to leave. Travelers faced hours of waiting, only to see their flights erased from the board. For many, hope turned to disappointment as the reality of the situation set in. Terminals became crowded holding areas. People slept on floors, lined up for help, and searched for hotel rooms. The airport's amenities were quickly overwhelmed by the sheer number of stranded passengers. Families, elderly passengers, and those with urgent plans were all stranded. Some tried to keep children entertained, while others worried about missing important events or medical appointments. The emotional toll was high. Frustration, exhaustion, and helplessness filled the airport. Tempers flared, and tears were shed as the hours dragged on. Staff and airline employees did their best, but the numbers were overwhelming. Every airline was affected: United, Southwest, Frontier, and more. Even the most experienced workers struggled to keep up with the demand for information and assistance, American, and more. The lines at check-in counters and help desks seemed endless, with passengers desperate for updates or alternative travel options. The problem wasn't with any one company, it was the weather, plain and simple. No amount of planning could have fully prepared the airport for a blizzard of this magnitude. The airport became a city of stranded travelers, all waiting for the storm to pass. People from all walks of life found themselves united by a single hope: to get home safely. The chaos inside reflected the chaos outside. As the blizzard raged, uncertainty and anxiety grew within the terminal walls. The blizzard didn't discriminate. Everyone was caught in its path. Business travelers, vacationers, and locals alike were all at the mercy of the storm. The shutdown was a direct result of the storm's power. Runways disappeared under thick blankets of snow, and even the most advanced snow removal equipment struggled to keep up. No one was immune to the disruption. The sense of community grew as strangers shared stories, snacks, and phone chargers. Denver's airport was at a standstill, and so were the people inside. The usual hustle and bustle was replaced by a tense, uneasy stillness. The blizzard's reach was total, stretching from the runways to the waiting areas, affecting every single person in operation. This was a crisis no one could escape, a moment that would be remembered by all who experienced it as a true test of patience and resilience. The storm's chaos spread far beyond the airport. Pena Boulevard, the main road to Denver, became nearly impassable. Major highways like I-70 and I-25 were shut down. Travel was dangerous everywhere. Stranded travelers couldn't fly out or drive away. They were trapped by snow. Schools closed, businesses went remote, and the city slowed to a crawl. Emergency crews focused all resources on clearing roads and keeping people safe. Denver's crisis was part of a region-wide emergency. the airport's shutdown rippled across the country. As a major hub, Denver's closure disrupted flights nationwide. Delays and cancellations spread coast to coast. The interconnectedness of air travel meant a problem in Denver became a problem everywhere. The blizzard's impact was national, not just local. Officials responded with a massive, coordinated effort. The airport deployed all snow removal equipment and crews worked non-stop in brutal conditions. Governor Jared Polis declared a disaster emergency, unlocking resources and support. The Colorado National Guard was activated to help stranded motorists and support emergency operations. Inside the airport, staff distributed blankets, food, and water to stranded passengers. Airlines scrambled to rebook flights, but seats were scarce for days. The FAA issued a ground stop, halting all flights to Denver to prevent further chaos. Updates were shared constantly to keep the public informed and discourage unnecessary travel. Every agency worked together to manage the crisis and keep people safe. The response was about survival, not convenience. As the airport shut down, conspiracy theories exploded online. Some claimed a secret discovery in Denver's underground tunnels was the real cause. These stories spread fast, but offered no evidence, just speculation. In reality, the airport's tunnels housed baggage systems and utilities, nothing more. Every official source confirmed the blizzard was the only reason for the shutdown. Journalists on the ground found no sign of secrets, only snow and stranded travelers. The rumors were fiction, the snowstorm was fact. Sometimes the truth is less exciting, but far more important. The evidence for the snowstorm's impact was overwhelming. Meteorological data, official statements, and live news coverage all told the same story. The National Weather Service tracked the storm and issued warnings. Airport and state officials gave constant updates, all citing the weather as the cause. Journalists reported from the scene, showing snow-packed runways and crowded terminals. No credible source found any evidence of secret discoveries. In contrast, rumors came from anonymous accounts with no proof. The facts were clear. The blizzard shut Denver down. This was a lesson in trusting reliable sources over sensational stories. The real story was about weather, not conspiracy. The Denver airport shutdown reminds us of nature's power. Even the most advanced technology can be stopped by a single storm. Preparedness and coordinated response saved lives and kept chaos in check. The event showed how interconnected our systems are. One city's crisis can ripple nationwide. It also highlighted the importance of seeking facts, not rumors, in a crisis. The real story was dramatic enough: snow, struggle, and resilience. Denver's shutdown was a weather story, not a mystery. Trusting facts helps us navigate through any storm, literal or figurative.